So the Pixel 4a 5G and the Pixel 5 were announced about a little over 6 months ago. The Google I/O making its return this year virtually in about a few weeks. I think now is the perfect time to talk about both Pixels before they unveil some new stuff and new software. So let's talk about it. So both the Pixels offer an OLED HDR panel by 1080 by 2340 resolution. Pixel 4a 5G has a 6.2 inch panel, while the Pixel 5 has a 6-inch one. The Pixel 5 has a nice addition with a variable 90 Hz refresh rate to it, which is a nice touch, but the rest of the industry, save for Apple, has jumped to 120 Hz and beyond. As far as the display itself, you're getting what you would normally get from Google, which is great output for gaming, media, everyday stuff. The hardware on the Pixel 4a 5G is a smoother plastic, while the Pixel 5 has a bit of a textured plastic material. But of course, with the Pixel 5 being the flagship, there are a few differences between two. IP68 dust and water resistance rating for the body. So both offer Snapdragon 765G processor. This gives you flagship level speeds and 5G support. Pixel 4a 5G has 6 gigs of RAM and the Pixel 5 has 8 gigs of RAM. So a lot of the issues that plagued Pixels after either immediately with the 4 or after a while with the previous, hopefully become a thing of the past. Within the few months I've had with it, I haven't come in any sort of memory issues or different things. This is a way easier device to recommend in regards to everyday performance, multitasking, viewing streaming media, everyday use, all that good stuff. Of course, Call of Duty mobile test, the screen got hot. So usually a lot of times you'll play it, the back panel gets hot, but not to the point of burning your hand. No overheating, no freezing, but just worth noting. The battery side of things, Google's definitely living up to the marketing, giving you all-day battery life, both with the Pixel 4a 5G and the Pixel 5. That's about 5 to 6 hours or beyond, depending on your use of on-screen time, which would equate to 12 to 15 hours and beyond in regards to heavy to medium usage, which is pretty good. For those of you who like to know the numbers, Pixel 4a 5G has a 3,885 milliamp battery, while the Pixel 5 has a 4,080 milliamp battery. So if you're looking for a boost in the camera department from Google, you kind of get it, but not really. So you have a f1.7 12.2 megapixel sensor with both optical image stabilization and electronic simulation, as well as dual phase detection autofocus. Instead of opting for a telephoto lens, again, we got what many people have been waiting for, an ultra wide sensor. And that is a f2.2 16 megapixel ultra wide. And you do have some sort of telephoto, but it's AI, so you retain the super red zoom software feature, which surprisingly still works pretty good. So it still manages to give you 3 lenses in the shape of 2. So the photos are great as usual, but this time around the video gets a bit of a step up as well, which we've all been waiting for. The shooters on both phones are great in damn near any situation: daylight, low light, nighttime. Got good color reproduction, the right amount of sharpness, amazing dynamic range, and great HDR quality. The same applies for the f2.0 8 megapixel selfie sensor as well. However, I do miss the Pixel Visual Core separate image processor that speeds up. Basically when you take a picture, you might have to wait a little bit now. So when you did have that on, you take a picture, boom, it's processed and you're ready to go. So now it's relying on the phone's main processors to do image processing as well as everything else. From previously, you had a whole separate co-processor to handle that and speed up the process. On the video side of things, we see actual improvements, not quite to get to iPhone status, but they're doing pretty good things with the improved video stabilization, the new cinematic pan feature that kind of meshes slow motion and stabilization for dramatic scenes, but that only works in 1080p. But if you're shooting anything outside of that, you can shoot 4K and 60 frames per second and 30 frames per second, but no 24 frames per second. So it's a very weird thing to omit. And still, one of the shining stars of the Pixel experience is the software. You got feature drops that gives you new treats instead of waiting an entire year for an OS update. You still got the Pixel only features like Now Playing, call screening, live caption, and their latest voice recorder feature. All this with the best virtual assistant on the smartphone there is, Google Assistant, which is actually faster on Pixel phones. For the past few years, Google has done a good job in regards to maintaining a minimal design, latest and greatest in Android, and great cameras for photos. Now, the problem is everything else in between, everybody else has been nailing, and now they seem to have nailed the camera as well. So Google's definitely in an interesting position right now to see how will they move forward. That's our take on the two. If you have any questions, make sure you sound off in the comments below. Appreciate you for being here, appreciate you stopping by, because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. And see you in the next video. Peace.